funny. Actually, we thought Riverdale, before it landed at the CW, it was at Fox. So we thought that Riverdale was going to hit the airwaves before the reboot hit. But when the project shifted from Fox to CW, it was delayed a year. So Mark had read the Riverdale script, the pilot script and the Bible, so weirdly he sort of said, oh, I'm going to base it on this pilot, even though the pilot hasn't come out, so that at least we're sort of in synergy and in line. So weirdly, I would say the opposite, which is that Archie was sort of based on Riverdale, minus kind of the darker noir mystery elements.
Now, is that where Afterlife with Archie and is that where that kind of kicks in?
I think Afterlife with Archie we launched maybe 3 years ago, and that really showed us that we can take these characters that are so beloved and so iconic and put them in different situations that people have seen, and as long as we stay true to the core, they would be happy to see them in those different situations. So when we started working on the TV show, we thought we need a couple of things to set it apart. And people love mysteries, and I really love the tension between the light and the dark. Like, I love playing against people's expectations of these characters, which is that they're wholesome and innocent and like 1950s. They are that, but that's not all they are. I think the core of the characters remain. I think the biggest difference is the kind of story we're telling. The old Archie comic books were almost like gag cartoons. They'd be 1 page or 3 pages, and then it would end with a joke. There is definitely humor in Riverdale, but it's much more reflective of contemporary storytelling. There are lots of serialized elements. There's a mystery, but even apart from that, it's the characters growing from episode to episode. The Archie comic books, they're 16. They will always be 16. They will always be sophomores or juniors. I can't remember, but that's not how it's going to be on Riverdale. The characters are going to change and grow and learn. The way we kind of modernize it is by incorporating all that stuff. And it's not, in the old days it used to be like the story, I always say that the kind of the quintessential Archie story was, oh my gosh, it's the homecoming dance, and I'm taking both Betty and Veronica. I have to run around town and make them think that I'm with both of them. In the world we live in today with Tinder and social media and Facebook updates and all this stuff, we just wouldn't tell that story because Archie would be revealed before he even got started. So I think it's by exactly running into that and owning it as opposed to trying to avoid it. Yeah, I think everything is on the table, and I think we have a library of 75 years of millions of pages of Archie stories to mine. The only one that I think that really, I think it was in the 80s, there was a really big return of Cheryl Blossom story, where Archie was finally going to make up his mind. It was called Love Showdown, and that one I kind of use a little bit in the pilot and in season 1, but all that stuff's on the table. But so far we haven't done anything. I think the most daunting challenge of it is, I love these characters. I grew up reading them. I wanted to be their friends when I was a kid, and I think that the biggest challenge or the biggest fear is you want to update them, you want to put them in situations they've never been, but you also want to make sure that you never betray who they are. So I always write at the top of a script page, handle with care. So even if I'm doing something that's a little controversial or scandalous with the characters, my guiding star always is what their core is, and that Archie, no matter how many mistakes he makes or how many wrong decisions and poor judgment he shows, he's still basically a good kid. I think one of the things that people really responded to in the pilot, and which we'll do in series, is that Betty and Veronica aren't catfighting and they aren't being bitchy to each other. They'll become really good friends. It doesn't mean they won't fight, but we're not playing they're not a bunch of mean girls running around saying bitchy things to each other.
Awesome.
Thank you guys.
Thank you so much.